What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And this one I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tsla, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's happening with the economic calendar moving forward, break down other factors out there which you should be watching for as time goes on. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $2,000, you're guaranteed 30 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY on invested cash. The offer ends at the end of March. Anyways, let's talk about what's happening with this market. So, one thing that's quite evident is that SPY is trying to make higher lows right now. And this is looking a little bit more bullish in terms of the trend, but for the last day and a half, we've been consolidating. So we'll have to see if SPY can break resistance. And if we do break past the high of yesterday at that 576.5 area, I do expect us to see a bullish continuation. Now, whether or not that happens depends on politics and some news. So I want to talk about that first, and I'll break down these charts. The first thing worth mentioning is that today is Wednesday, March 26th, 2025. Okay, there's not really much data coming out. We do have Kashkari from the Fed giving a speech. And besides that, there's nothing else that's too crazy, just lots of like oil imports data. Nothing too crazy is coming out for today. However, there was some news involving President Trump. Trump did make some announcements about his tariffs today. He said essentially that I'll probably be more lenient than reciprocal, because if I was reciprocal, that would be very tough for people. That's what President Trump said. Then he said that I know there are some exemptions, and it's an ongoing discussion, but not too many exemptions. That's what President Trump added. So keep that in mind. Trump is saying that his tariffs will likely be more lenient than reciprocal as the April 2nd deadline is approaching, right? That's very, very big news. So Trump has a very, very different view now, very different tonality. Right before, he was talking about how his tariffs are going to be very big. He wants to create justice, this and that. And he threatened very high tariffs before. Now he's saying that there's going to be reciprocal tariffs, and he's willing to be more lenient because he doesn't want to hurt way too many people. And simultaneously, he mentioned that there's going to be flexibility. So those are two words he used: flexibility, and he's willing to be more lenient. That is what can be helping the markets. So in essence, this is like good news. This is part of why the market's trying to push right now. Would this be enough to push us to like new highs of the day? We'll see about that, just to be safe. But for now, this is a more positive tonality from him for the markets. For more news, GameStop is taking off after earnings were announced. They did announce the possibility of buying more Bitcoin with their cash reserves. And they had good earnings, so good job by GameStop. We also had Dollar Tree announce earnings. I would say earnings were decent overall, but what's very, very good is the fact that they are planning on selling it to private equity firms. So this acquisition could be very, very big. And with this happening, they're going to be selling their family dollar brand to them. That could be once again a very, very big piece of news. This is part of why the share price is up. And they also have good guidance. So they're actually expecting about 18.5 to $19.1 billion with growth of about 3 to 5% for 2025. Good news for them. So pretty good overall. The last thing is let's talk about what's happening with some news, and I'll break down the charts. Consumer confidence is going down right now, according to data from yesterday. Besides that, we have GameStop taking off, and then that's all we're essentially seeing, at least thus far. So pretty much that's what I'm seeing on the news. With that being said, let's focus now on the charts. So SPY is trying to push a little bit during this pre-market session. Just know we've been shopping quite a bit. If we manage to break past 576.5, I favor 578, then eventually 580. If we don't hold 575, we could decline back down towards the low of from yesterday around the 572.5 area. Then 570 is next at the 20 EMA. So we'll have to see if that range ends up holding. So it depends. Right now, it's a little hard to tell because we're just kind of consolidating like this. But the direction's a bit more bullish as we're trying to balance and make higher lows. So we are favoring, we want to go up to about the 580 area, basically. If we could manage to hold above 576.5, I think there is potential in SPY to push higher, at least as of right now, but we need confirmation first, so please keep that in mind. In case it does not hold 574, we could be looking for 572, then 570. But for now, the chart does look bullish, so we're favoring consolidation and eventually an attempt to push to 580 as of right now. For the QQQ, it's in the middle, so we are at some tough resistance. We're going to likely do the same thing, consolidating between 492 and 494. If we break 494, we could be looking for an attempt to get closer to like 498 to 500. If we lose 494, we could turn back down towards 490, then 487, so it could go either way. But overall, it's looking a bit more bullish, and I think that there's a good chance that the QQQ tries to continue this uptrend. So we'll see how things end up going. I think there's a good chance we try to continue this. We'll see how well we hold around the 490 area. Might see a little bit of a decline before some buyers step in, but I think we're doing a good job so far. So watch 490. As long as you hold above that, we could remain bullish. I do see a slight decline, maybe not more of a decline, maybe like a consolidation. I would say is like more accurate. We're going to see some like consolidation right here for now, and we'll see if we could take off higher. That depends on if Nvidia could bounce as well. So let's see if we can break 494. If that's the case, we're looking for more upside. So watch your levels very closely. And for the time being, the trend is more bullish. So even if we do either consolidate or see a small dip, we could eventually still try to get up to 500. We still look bullish, at least technically speaking. The IWM looks more bullish as we have an inverse head and shoulders like structure. This could also be attempting to break 209. If that breaks, I'm looking for essentially 211. If we lose 206, we could turn back down, but this is looking bullish. It's favoring a push for these highs again, the 210s and 212s. For ES, we look bullish. We're making higher lows. If we manage to hold above 5,800, we're looking for 5,850 to 5,870. If we end up losing 5,800, we could turn back down to 5,790, all the way down to like 5,750 below that. So we look bullish on ES. We're favoring 5,850 or above. I think we're doing a good job so far. NQ is looking more bullish. If we manage to break above 20,500, we're looking for an attempt to pump even more. If we end up losing 20,400, we could turn back down to 20,292. NQ is looking quite good. We're making higher lows, so we are favoring a push for 20,500 plus. As long as we don't end up losing 20,400, we are still looking bullish, so watch that very closely. Bitcoin's making higher lows right now. I want to see if we can try to get back above 88,000 though to really push higher. We're in a consolidation phase, so it needs some time to develop. For Nvidia, we're technically in a range. We're getting very tight. It's dipping a little bit. I think we had some negative news that came out this morning. There's been some concerns about their semiconductors. I think there's been a delay in in the import tariffs. So there's been some concerns here and there, but here's what I'm saying. We have a gap to fill at 117. As long as 117 to 115 holds, we could try to bounce. If we lose 115, I will change my view, and this will turn a little bit more bearish for that 115 target. So please keep that in mind, guys. We're watching that very, very closely. The chart is still good with that potential cup and handle like structure, but I want to make it very, very clear that we are attempting to do a better job. So my view is we're looking quite decent on Nvidia. We're trying to hold support, so we'll see how that ends up going. If we lose support right here, I'm going to be a little bit more concerned, so we'll give it some time to develop. And if anything, like I said before, I'm just going to be very, very patient with this. So keep that in mind. So as of right now, the trend's a bit more bullish, and this is also going to be affecting like NQ and the QQQ right now. So I'm hoping we get that bounce. I'm hoping we try to get a bounce near 115 to 118. If not, it's not going to be a good sign. For Tesla, there's a slight decline here. It's still bullish, but there might be a small decline to the lower 280s before it attempts some kind of rebound move. If we don't hold 274, then yes, we do expect this to dip to the 260s. So it depends on if 274 to 275 holds. That's the main support. But for now, it does look like we could be retesting the 280 area, maybe a little bit below that before it tries to bounce. So I do see a small decline on Tesla for now. But want to see if we get a bounce near 280 or not. Apple looks more bullish, favoring 225 to 226, so it might push a bit more, and we'll see if it rejects. Coinbase, that's looking decent. So let me just close this. As long as we're above 202, we're favoring a push for 207, then eventually 212 to fill the gap. If we lose 200, we could turn back down to 197, then fill the gap back down to 190. So it could go either way. Amazon's looking more bullish. If we manage to hold above 207, we're looking for an attempt for 208 to 210. If we lose 204, we could turn back down, but it's looking a little bit more bullish to me. Meta is looking decent. One thing that's a problem is that we're struggling to break past 635, so it might decline to about 615 first, and we'll see if it bounces off that. Might be a small decline on Meta. Microsoft is more bullish so long as we don't lose 390. We also, If we could break 397, it's going to be a better sign. So I do think we might slowly uptrend towards that target. Google's a little bit weak right now. We're looking for that 170 to 169 area to be tested. We'll see if we bounce off that or not. So keep that in mind. Also, the VIX is continuing to downtrend, so give it some time and we'll see what the reaction is. So keep that in mind. Anyways, that is it for my video. I'm hoping the market remains more bullish, but we need to see confirmation, which would be a break above 576.5 for SPY. Right now, I see some consolidation again, but we'll see if we can break resistance to continue to push. So keep that in mind. Watch resistance and look for some consolidation for now. Have a good day, guys. I'll see you guys very soon, and peace out.